Hello everyone. Welcome back to Podcast with Neeraj, where inspiring conversations help you improve your English while motivating you to chase your dreams. I'm your host, Neeraj, and today we have a truly remarkable guest joining us from the United States. His name is Ethan Carter, and his story proves that failure is never the end of the journey. Believe it or not, Ethan once failed every English exam in school. Teachers worried about his future, classmates laughed at his mistakes, and even he started believing he wasn't good enough. But years later, he achieved something many students only dream about: earning admission to Harvard University. Today, he's here to share how he transformed failure into success. Ethan, thank you for joining us. Let's begin at the start. What was your life like when English felt impossible, and how did those failures affect your confidence?
Thank you, Neeraj. It's an honor to be here, because I know there are students listening who feel exactly the way I once did. When I was in middle school, English was my weakest subject. I struggled with reading, writing, and even speaking in front of my class. Every report card reminded me that I had failed another English exam. I watched my friends score higher while I kept asking myself, why can't I do this? Slowly, I stopped raising my hand in class because I was afraid of giving the wrong answer. My confidence disappeared, and I believed success belonged to smarter students. One evening, my father sat beside me and said, "Grades tell you where you are today, but your habits decide where you'll be tomorrow." Those words stayed with me, and they became the first step toward changing my life.
Ethan, I really appreciate your honesty. I think many students listening right now can relate to your story. They may not have failed every exam, but they've experienced self-doubt, fear, and the feeling that they're falling behind. What stands out to me is what your father said. Your habits decide where you'll be tomorrow. That's a powerful reminder that success is built one day at a time. I'm curious about the next chapter. After hearing those words, what did you actually change? Did you create a study schedule, read more books, or practice speaking every day? Our audience wants practical advice they can start using immediately. If someone watching this podcast feels stuck in the same situation you were in, what simple daily habits helped you improve your English and rebuild your confidence from the ground up?
The first thing I changed was my routine, not my goal. Instead of worrying about passing every exam, I focused on improving just 1% each day. Every morning, I read one page from an English book and underlined new words. I kept a notebook where I wrote 5 new words every day, along with simple sentences. After school, I listened to English podcasts for 20 minutes and repeated difficult sentences aloud. At night, I stood in front of a mirror and spoke about my day in English for 10 minutes. It felt awkward at first, but I kept going. Whenever I made mistakes, I treated them as lessons instead of failures. Slowly, my vocabulary grew. My pronunciation became clearer, and I finally started enjoying English. That's when I realized that consistency is much more powerful than natural talent.
Ethan, your journey proves that success isn't about being born talented, it's about showing up every single day. I also love how you turned mistakes into learning opportunities instead of reasons to quit. Now let's talk about the biggest milestone in your story. Getting into Harvard University is a dream for millions of students around the world. Many believe only geniuses can achieve it, but your story suggests something different. What was the application process like? How did your improved English help you during interviews, essays, and conversations with professors? I'm sure many students listening today hope to study abroad one day. Could you also share a few interview phrases or confidence tips that helped you communicate clearly? I believe those practical lessons will inspire our audience and help them prepare for their own future opportunities with greater confidence.
When I applied to Harvard, I wasn't the smartest student, but I had become one of the most determined. My English had improved because I practiced every day, not because I was naturally gifted. During my interviews, I spoke honestly instead of trying to sound perfect. I used simple sentences like, "I love learning," I enjoy solving problems, and every challenge teaches me something new. The interviewers cared more about my ideas, determination, and attitude than perfect grammar. The day I received my acceptance letter, I remembered every failed English exam and smiled because those failures had prepared me for that moment. To every student listening, remember this. Don't let today's grades decide tomorrow's future. Learn every day, speak with confidence, and never be afraid of making mistakes. Your biggest weakness today can become your greatest strength tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and keep believing in yourself.